Welcome back to the new video, the data validation in Microsoft Excel. Very important and very useful. Normally, when people enter the data, they have various assumptions. They have various information available. So they can keep on entering incorrect data in that Excel. For example, we have a list of a column here, and we want people to enter city names. So let's say one city have multiple names. For example, in India, Bangalore is a city. It's a very famous city in India. So some people enter Bangalore, some people enter as Bangalore. Okay, so they might make a mistake while entering here. So similarly, there are various places they make mistakes. So in order to avoid that, we can restrict person to write specific data, to select specific data. Okay, that's just one example. But data validation is important. Why we use data validation? So that the end user avoids making mistakes. It avoids making mistakes. So it is very useful for the data analyst further to analyze data. Okay, so avoiding mistakes, data validation is the right thing. Let's understand. Now, please observe on my screen, we have this data here, okay, the blank data here, any value, number 1 to 10 and so on. Normally, when you write something in Excel, okay, if I keep my cursor here, we can enter anything, okay. In this particular cell, we can enter anything, let's say text. If we enter a text, it goes on the left hand side. If we enter a number, enter, it goes on the right hand side. If we enter as false, it is a Boolean data type, it comes in the center here. If we enter a formula 1 divided by 0, okay, and when I press enter, it will give me an error message. So this is a column where I can enter anything. So it can be formula, an error message, Boolean data type, number and text. What I want is a person should enter only numbers, a person should enter only dates, only text, anything. So that becomes restricting value in a particular cell. Okay, restricting value. So same way, if I increase the size, here it comes any value. I can enter ABC, I can enter 1, 2, 3, I can enter here 1 divided by 0. Okay, 1 divided by 0. So that's an any value. Now, here I want people to follow some system, follow a process here. So I want people to enter only numbers between 1 to 100, not more than that, not less than that. So what is 1 to 100? An example you can take, let's say this is a column where we want to enter the scores of students in a college or a school. Okay, so that can be 1 to 100. It cannot be beyond 100, it cannot be below 1. Some people may have 0. So let's see how do we do that. First, we can select this column here. We can select this data. Okay. Now here, if you want to apply data validation for numbers, we can go to the data tab or data menu bar. On the right hand side, if you observe here, that's a data validation, very small option in the data tools. This is the data validation. And here in the data validation, currently this allows any value. If you observe here, it allows any value to be entered. So now let me zoom the screen and you can see it allows any value. So I don't want any value in that column because these are scores of my students. So I will click on this drop down and I can tell them that you allow them only whole numbers. Carefully observe, allow. What is the validation criteria? Allow whole numbers. Carefully observe, there are different options, whole numbers, decimal, list, date and so on. We'll see one by one. The first example will be whole number and the number should be between 1 to 100. Okay, minimum 1, maximum should be 100. That's it. Very simple, nothing great in this. Now when we click on OK, now here in this box, if I share this Excel with any person in the world, they won't be able to modify, okay, provided they know the steps and all. But as an end user, if they enter 25, okay, if they enter 55, okay, if they enter 101, okay, and if you press enter, this will throw a message that this, okay, this value doesn't match the data validation. So you cannot enter the data. So we can click on cancel. Or if they enter ABC, if they press enter, this will again give a message, you cannot enter anything else. So this is something which is restricting end user to enter the value. Okay. Similarly, now we have the second example of text characters. Usually in India, I'll talk about India here. India is my country. In India, whenever you travel to any place in India in a flight, they have the 3-digit code for every city. For example, Pune, I belong to Pune. So Pune will come as PNR, okay, or PLN like this. We have Pune. For Bangalore, BLR, Delhi, DLH, something name would be given. So 3 characters is a word which is defined for every city. Same way, I want the user to enter only 3 characters. It can be a flight, city name, it can be something else. So we can select this data over here and again go to data validation. On the right hand side, data validation. Here the criteria right now is we can select only a length of a text between. So instead of between, I'll tell them it should be less than 4. What is less than 4? It is 3 characters. Or I can tell them it should be equal to, okay, more specific, it would be equal to 3. Because if I say less than, it can be 1 characters, 2 characters, 0 characters. So I have told them equal to 3 characters, and I can click on OK. Now when we enter here A, B, C, it's okay. P, Q, R, it's okay. But if I add A, B, C, D, now when I press enter, it will not allow the end user to enter the data. So it says either you try or you cancel or you click on help, but it will not accept the data. So we can click on cancel. So this is for the text characters. Similarly, now we have some dates. If you want to sign up on Facebook, and I'm just giving an example, on a Facebook there's a criteria: below 14 years, below 12 years, below 13 years, you cannot enroll on that Facebook application, because that's a condition criteria. Same way, we can ask people to enter data only in 2021. So the data or the date should be between 1st of Jan 2021 to 31st of December 2021, in between those dates. So we can restrict end user to enter dates in that range. So let's do it. We can select this data over here, cells, click on data validation. We can select the option as date, and the dates could be 1/1/2021, and it could be 31/12/2021. That's it. So it's a date option between start of the year, end of the year. Now we can just click on OK. So here when we enter, let's say 1/1/2025, and when we press enter, it is going to throw an error. If you enter 1/1/2024, not working, we can make it as 2021, it is accepted. 12/12/2021, enter. So it is accepted. So the dates between that particular range. Okay. Similarly, now I want the condition that above 2021. Okay. Now where it is used, suppose you are entering name of the people who are joining the company. So obviously when a person joins in the company, their age would be 20 plus. Okay. No person in the company can join below 20. So it cannot accept the dates. So the HR will get an intimation that something is wrong. The dates and the age are wrong. So here we go. We want to enter dates above 2021. So here it goes, data validation. We can select the option as date, and the condition is it should be greater than, and it should be if it is greater than 2021, if you observe here, dates above 2021. So it should be 31st of December 2021, 31st/12/2021. And when we click on OK, so now I can press control semicolon, that is today's date. I can put here equal to, or maybe 12/12/2025, enter. So this is giving me the dates above that 2021, which is perfect. So this is what you call data validation. Why we need this? Again, I repeat, if you share this Excel with different people, they have their different mindsets. They might make mistakes while entering data. In order to bring them in a same uniform format, we need to share this Excel where data validation rules are applied. Let's see some more. We have another example. Okay. So usually people write here data as pass and fail, yes, no, maybe, name of the city, and auto pick. For example, if I share this Excel with someone, they might write as pass in capital letters, they might write as fail in capital letters, or they might write pass in small letters. So there's no uniformity. There's different data over here. I want people not to invest time in writing. Okay, not to invest time in writing, or I can say not to waste time into writing. Normally a person stays on this planet only 4,000 weeks. I on this planet will be staying max to max 4,000 weeks. I should not spend my time into doing unnecessary steps. I should make my work easy and automated. Same way, I want a person to have a drop down list. From that drop down list, they can select pass or fail. That's it. So here we go. We selected the blank cells using big doctor symbol, clicked on the data validation, and here we go. From this any value, I don't want any value, I want them to select from the list, and the list would be here given as, let's say, pass and comma fail, pass comma fail, and then we can click on OK. That's it. So pass comma fail, click on OK. Now here we got a drop down list which is showing as pass, and here it shows as fail. So now a person will not invest time into typing, they can quickly select one by one. Okay. Similarly, yes, no, maybe. Okay, will you come for a trip to Bangkok, or will you come for a trip to Goa? So we can select the option as yes, no, maybe. You cannot write the fourth option. So we can select this area when we can click on this drop down data validation, select the option as list. Here we can write as yes, comma, no, comma, maybe. Okay, from this drop down we can select this yes, no, maybe, and then it's so easy. This is known as data validation. This is also known as drop down list. This is also known as list in Microsoft Excel. Why do we need this? To save time. Similarly, I want to see the name of list of all the cities in the India. Okay, so we can select this data, click on this list, we can click on this list, and suppose I write the name of the city: Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore. Okay, as I said, Bangalore. So some people write as Bangalore. Okay, if I write as Mumbai, some people call as Bombay. Okay, so names of the cities have changed. Spelling, some people do not know. If I say the lengthy name in India, it's a Tiruvananthapuram. Okay, Tiruvananthapuram is the name of the city in India. It's very lengthy. Not everybody will be able to understand and remember the spelling. Actually, I don't remember the spelling. So if I write as Delhi, and then we can click on OK, and you can see these are list of name of all the cities which I've typed here. But now India is a very big country. Almost 30-40 countries can combine, and then India is one country. So there are so many cities in the country here. Now I cannot feed all the name of thousands and thousands of cities in India. I need something which I can automatically pick up the data. For example, on the right hand side, these are name of the cities which I have written here. These are just 10-15 cities. But if I want the data should be automatically fetched from this column over here, I don't have to type one by one. Then what is the method? Please have a look here. The first thing is we can select this cells over here, data validation. We can select the option as list. Now here comes, instead of typing 1000 cities over here, this is going to waste a lot of time. Okay. Now what we can do is we can click on this button. This will fetch the data from those selected cells. Okay, so when I click on this button and then move on the right hand side, select this range over here. These are few cities, hardly 10 cities, and then we can click on this button and click on OK. That's it. When we go on the left hand side, now here we can click on this drop down. So it is automatically populated the list of name of all the cities. This is the beautiful and the best method. Where you can use this option, one is city example. Second is, suppose you are a manager and you have 100 people working in your company, 100 people. Okay, you manage those people. Now, instead of writing the names, instead of copy pasting the names, tell Excel to remember these names. It will remember the names for you. So this is the list it can pick up, and you can quickly get the answers. Or if you have list of name of clients, list of name of products, or list of name of items or services what you offer, anything it can pick up. So this is one example. Now you have to be careful. It looks easy, but suppose in this location, which is Chennai, if I write here as let's say Tokyo. Okay, Tokyo is name of the city. If I write here Tokyo, and if I go back here in this data set, okay, in this data set it will show you Tokyo. So you see the third option, which is Tokyo. So what you understand from here, if you give this Excel to someone and they select the data from here, but there might be some of your colleague who is not so good in your company, he might change the source data, possible. He might change the source data, and which is going to impact your drop down list. So you have to be careful. How you can be careful? This list you can put into a new sheet. Okay. Copy that list, put into a new sheet. From that new sheet, you pick up and create a drop down. And then you can just right click on the sheet and you can put a password to that sheet. So, and that password you have to remember. Okay. That end user will not remember the password. So this way, the person whom you're sharing the sheet will not, do the chedkani with that particular data. It will be stored as it is. Okay. And if I go back to data validation. So you have to be a little careful when you pick up or to pick up the data. Let's see the next example. And this is something, data validation with a name range. Now usually this was some data, okay, but sometimes the data becomes very huge. So you can give a name range to that data. Okay, how do you give that? Please see. We can select this data over here, and then in this name box we selected the cities. In the name box we can click here and write as cities or anything, and we can press enter. That's it. So this range, this area is now known as cities. So when we select this range over here, okay, when we select this data and when we click on data validation, we select the option as list. Here we can type as equal to cities. So equal to cities, and that entire area was known as cities. When we click on OK, this gave us the cities over here. This is just another method. Okay, not so important, but you should understand that the name range can be added into data validation, which is highly possible. The next one and the last one and the master example of this one. Now, these are name of all the places, all the countries which are given, approximately 7 countries are there, and these are name of the cities in those countries here. What we want here is, if we select a country name from here, automatically the next column, the data should be populated for cities. Okay, if you select the country from here, it should populate as city from here. That's relevant city. For example, these are name of the countries: United States, United Kingdom, Japan, France, Germany, Australia, and India. And if you select the country India, here in the next place, we should get name of the cities in India, which is Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and Chennai. That's the answer here. So this is known as dependent drop-down list. The name of the topic is dependent drop-down list. There are 3 steps for doing this activity, 3 steps. The first step would be create a list for the country. Okay, create a list for the country. That's the first step. Second step would be giving the name range, which I'll show right now. And third step is creating dependent drop-down list. 3 steps, everyone. First step is create a country list, which is very simple. You can see here I want list of name of all the countries which are given. So we can go to data validation, select the option as list from here, and from this backend we can select this data. Okay. We selected this data from the backend, click on OK. This was very simple, straightforward. So first drop down list is created. You can see first drop down list. And now moving further, the next option would be we need to give the name range. Carefully observe this data which is given over here. Now this cities should be given the name of the country. This city should be given the name of country. That means range name should be the country name. Cities combined name should be the country name. So we selected this data. And if you remember formulas menu bar, we have covered this topic. Here comes create from selection. Create from selection, and this should be top row. That means all the top row should become the bottom names over here. And we can click on OK. To understand this, you can refer the previous video. We have done that. Click on OK. What happened here is now if we click on this drop down, these are name of the cities. So if I select Japan, this area is selected. If we click on this option, let's say as India, these cities are selected here. If we select the drop down from here, let's say France, the cities are selected. So this was the second step. We selected and gave the name of the headings over here. That's a name range. And third and the last step is dependent drop down list. We click on this cell, then we click on this data validation option and select the option list. Till here, I think nothing would be difficult. Now the only thing is this is not a name. It's just now a name range. Okay. Japan is now no more a name. It is a name range. It is an address for this data. If you see for this data, France is no more a name. It's an address for this data. Germany is no more a data here. So here we can write as equal to the function or the formula function. We call this a function equal to indirect and select this cell. So what is this formula here? Please understand indirect A92. That means whatever is the value in A92, we could have selected A92, but we tell them it is a name range. So don't just follow the value. Don't just follow the value. Decode the value and find out the range. That's known as indirect. It's not a direct value, it's an indirect value here. So now when we click on OK, and when we click on OK, you can see what happened here. So suppose if we select this option, let's say France, and from this drop down we get the option as France. So from here if we select the option as Germany, from here we get the option as Germany here. All the cities in Germany. Let me zoom the screen. If we select the option as India, these are name of all the cities in India. Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai. If we select United States, it becomes as United States. Now places you might get an error because, okay, so you see United States is not working. Carefully observe if there are some unwanted spaces. I have some unwanted spaces in United States. That was my mistake. So I should have no spaces, unwanted spaces in the first row, in the first place here. So remove the unwanted spaces and then this value will be working. So if you see France, Germany, Australia, India, there are no unwanted spaces. I have deleted all the spaces. So here you need to pick up the value properly. So from this drop down. So this is one condition which you have to understand. Okay. So here if you see India, it is working properly here. So this is what you call dependent drop down list, and this will work when you have different examples. So I'll give you an example here. Suppose you have 7 managers in a company. Okay. Each manager has 20-30 employees. You select manager name, you'll get the name of that employees in that who are reporting to that manager. Or suppose you're working for Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India has 10 different branches. Okay, Chota Reserve Bank of India, Chota government bodies. So you select RBI, you get all the list of bodies which are reporting to RBI. Or suppose you select IIT. Okay, IIT, there are many IITs in India. Then in that drop down you select NIIT. So many NIITs in India. You select some other board, you get all the list of data here. So dependent drop down list is very simple to use, very important to use, I can say. And these are the steps which I have shown. So watch it twice and thrice, practice, and then you'll be able to get the output here. So this was the option for, data validation. Remember, this was known as data validation. Why do we use it? To avoid the mistakes to be done in the Excel file, to save your time and to improve your performance in the company or the college or wherever you work. I hope you have understood data validation in Excel and VLOOKUP function in Excel, the most favorite function of people who use Excel. Okay, VLOOKUP. Now, VLOOKUP is very important, and why do we need VLOOKUP? First of all, Imagine there's a huge database in Excel and you just want specific information from that data set. Okay. So instead of going to the table, searching the data, it's very difficult. You can just type here the name and you get the value. Okay. So fetching data from a huge database quickly, we use a function named as VLOOKUP. Let's try to understand. We'll learn about almost 5 examples in this particular video. Let's try to understand. We have a data. Okay, just to begin with a very simple example. What is VLOOKUP? V stands for vertical. The table which you see on the screen, it's going vertically downwards. So therefore, we apply a formula named as VLOOKUP. Okay, what is the question? We will enter the name of the product and we want the price. Okay, if you observe here, the product name, the product code, the quantity and the price. This is a very small table, but when you go in the company, the database increases, the number of columns becomes 100, number of records become thousands and millions over there. So here, normally if you go to any place, how they search the value. Okay, imagine if this is a paper given to you and if I ask you what is the price of AC, you search in the first column, that is a lookup column, you search AC value and you pick up and search in that horizontal row and the value becomes 35. Okay. If I ask you what is the value of laptop, you search in the first column laptop, you go and search in the right hand side which is 70,000. Now imagine if the same data stretches to 50 columns, same data goes to thousands of records, you will not answer quickly. It is going to take a lot of time. So here I cannot keep on scrolling down to see the data. I cannot keep on scrolling right to find out the answer. So here we use VLOOKUP function. V stands for vertical. Now 3 things you have to remember to understand this function. 3 things. Number 1, lookup value. Whatever value you're trying to get, it's known as the lookup value. First question here, first topic here, lookup value. Second, the table array. This is one data set. Okay, so you can call the table for time being, not physically it's a table, but it's a virtually you can call the table. So one is the lookup value, second is the table array. Why this one you have to select? Because there are many tables in the data. If I scroll down, this is the second table. If I scroll down, third table. So first one is the lookup value, second one is the table array, third option is the 3 things you have to remember: lookup value, table array, and third option is the column index number. If you want a price column, okay, if you want the value price the first, second, third and fourth column, the fourth column number, that's it. So 3 things you have to remember and VLOOKUP is done. Okay, so let's write the formula here. We can type as equal to VL, which is equal to VL. You can see the VLOOKUP. We can press tab key from a keyboard. The moment you press tab key from a keyboard, this becomes your syntax. Okay, if you are new to Excel, do not worry. You can see 3 things which I mentioned. Lookup value. So lookup value is right now A5, comma. The second parameter, if you see, table array. So this is my table array. We can select this data, comma. Now here when we put here comma, this is column index number. If you see the column index number, we'll put here 4 and comma 0. So what is meaning of 0? I'll tell you in few minutes. Okay. So please understand 3 things. One is the lookup value, which is A5, table array, and position of price column. The position of price column is 4 here and we can press enter. So this value is the AC value. Let's cross check. AC value is 35,000, which is absolutely correct. If I type here, let's say as lights, enter, I have the value 35,000. If I type here laptop, enter, so laptop value is 70,000. So laptop value is given as 70,000. Now imagine, okay, a scenario. If you're working in a store, okay, and there are thousands of items in your store. Okay, it's a huge item, huge list over there, and suddenly a customer comes to you and they ask you what is the price of ABCD, and obviously you cannot remember. You just type the name of that item and you get the value. Now remember, if you go to some college or if you go to some company, people in college and companies are known by the numbers, ID number. They are not known by the names unless you are famous. Okay, so they ask you what is your ID number. If you're in a company, they have your employee ID number. They put the employee ID number and they get the value. Okay, they get the location, they get the salary, they get whatever you want. Okay, same way, if you go to some college, they will ask you what is your college ID number. Okay, they'll ask you ID number, student ID number. They will take that ID number and based on that, they will give the value. So what is the conclusion here is the first column should be unique values. The first column should have unique values. It should not be repetitive values. Okay, that's the first criteria. Okay, second, you can search data from left to right. Okay, you can search data from left to right. That means with the help of name of fridge, you can find out what is the value. But with the help of value, you cannot find out what is the item. It is not possible with the help of VLOOKUP function. Okay, so these are two things you have to remember. First column should be having a unique values. Second, the direction is from left to right on this place, and obviously when it is unique, it is not duplicate values, which is obviously you can understand here. Now let's see some more example. Okay, the third condition which I didn't tell you again, the value which you're trying to see should be the first column of that array. That should be the first column of that array. Let's try to understand with this example. So here we have the option now. Carefully observe. We have a product code and we want to find out what is the price. Okay, we have a product code and we want to find out the price. Now let's try to get the answers. Equal to VL, when we type equal to VL, press tab key. Three things which you remember: lookup value, table array, and then column index number. Okay, so here we go. That's a lookup value, comma, this becomes my table array. Why we need to select the table array? Because there are so many tables in the place, right? Which table should I go exactly? So this is the table array, comma 4, comma 0. Okay, what is the meaning of 0? Again in 5 minutes I'll tell you what exactly is that. So here we go, and when we press enter, we are getting the value as equal to NA. Okay, so NA means not available. Suppose if I control C, maybe I'm just checking this data may not be there, therefore it is giving us NA. So what I'll do is I'll copy control C and I'll press control V. Even if I press control V, I'm not getting the answer. So why you're not getting the answer? Because the lookup value should be the first column of your table array. That is the condition. Lookup value should be the first column of your table array. But however, this is the second column of my table array. Therefore, it is not going to work. This is the third rule which I tried to explain earlier. So what is the solution? Let me give you the solution. Equal to VL, press tab key. The solution I'm giving here. Select the lookup value, comma. Now this becomes my table array. Okay. One option is I shift copy and paste into first column. That is one option. Second option I have, I select the table from this data. Okay. Now when I select this table from this data, and if I put comma, now what is the column index number of price? The column index number of price is 1, 2 and 3. In the red highlighted box, the value or the position of column price is 3. So 3, 0. So I'll put here 3, 0. Meaning of 0 in few minutes when we press enter, and that gives me the value. Now let's copy control C, and here if I press control V, I'm getting the value 35,000, control C, control V. I'm getting the value as 77,000. So this is working fine. So this was the explanation of rule number 3. The lookup value should be the first column of the table array. Okay, that is the thing here. Let's understand one more example. This is important. What was meaning of 0? I'll try to explain here. If you see the first column, sales amount. In a company, there are many salesperson who does lot of sales, 100 rupees, 200, 5,000, millions and billions. Now the category. If a person is doing a sales of rupees 100, now this is a currency in India. People who are watching from outside India, for them, rupee is a currency symbol in India. Like in other country, it's a USD, okay, United States dollar. So here it is rupee symbol, okay, currency symbol. If it is 100 rupees, it becomes bad, okay, category. If he is doing a sales of 10,000 rupees, then it becomes excellent. He belongs to excellent category, promotion pakka. Now the commission would be paid. In order to keep a motivation for a person who's high performer, we have to give them incentives. So if the person is doing a sales of 10,000 rupees, he will be getting a commission of 1400 rupees. If a person does a sales of 3,000 rupees, the commission will be 200 rupees. Okay. Now here we will put here a value, and we want to understand what is the commission getting by that person. Okay. So definitely this is a vertical table. So we have to apply VLOOKUP formula. We will put the value from the first column. We want the data from the, let's say this one, the third column. Okay. So three things if you remember. One is lookup value. Second is the table array. Lookup value, table array. Column index number becomes here 3. Okay. So equal to VL, press tab key. This becomes my lookup value, comma. This becomes my table array, comma 3, 0. Okay, 3, 0. So when we press enter, I am getting the value as NA. Why NA? It is not available. Definitely if you see the value 99 is not available in that column. So I have to enter a value as 100. When you put a value as 100, and if you see the value as getting as 0. If I put the value as, let's say 2000, it is giving us 40. If I put value as 5000, and if I press enter, 500, perfect. But suppose nobody in the world is perfect, they will not do an exactly 5,000 rupees sales. Some person may do 4,999, some person may do 5,001, depending upon the person. So here, if I do a value or sales of 5,000 rupees, 5,001 rupee, and if I press enter, I'm still getting NA. this will demotivate a person and they will not come back to the company. So we need to give some incentive to a person who is not meeting exactly, okay, somewhere. So if the company is very strict, okay, what is the commission a person should get? Okay, let's say if I put 499 or 999, if a person is doing 4,999 sales, what is the commission he or she should get? So if anything below 5,000, it should go to the above category. That means it comes in 3,000 bracket and the commission should be 200. But here it is giving us equal to NA. So if I double click here, what is the solution? Instead of 0 value, we have to put here 1. The moment we put here 1, okay, what is 0 exactly? 0 is an exact match. If you have the value, give me the value. If you do not have matching value, don't give me the value. So it's like a sprite. Seedhi baat, no bakwas. So 0 means exact match. 1 means approximate match. So when I press enter, if I put instead of 0 as 1, okay, if I put 1, now if you see 4,999, which is below 5,000, which is 4,999, it comes to 3,000 category and 200 is the commission which is paid. Here, if I put as, let's say, 9999, enter. So if you see 9999, it comes here and the received commission is 500. Now this is the value here. So if I double click on this location, so instead of 0, we have put here 1. Now some people or some participants in the class, they said approximate match means somewhere nearby, right? So if a person is doing a sales of, let's say, 9999, it's almost like 10,000, right? So approximate means you give us 1400 as a commission. So this is just a name, okay, approximate match. It is not giving nearby value. Okay, so what approximate match does is, even if it's a very strict company, it's like your strict teacher in the school or college or a strict boss. Even if one value is lesser, you don't come to that category. So here below 10,000, it has to go to that 500 place here. So this was the meaning of 0 and 1. 0 stands for exact match, 1 stands for approximate match. This is one pure example of VLOOKUP here. Now similarly, we have another option as VLOOKUP with data validation. Imagine you have thousands and thousands of names, thousands of unique IDs, thousands of things over here. You cannot keep on typing, wastage of time. So we can apply VLOOKUP with data validation. So here the products I don't want to type. I want to make myself lazy. I want it a drop down to be created, okay, to save time. So here we go. In this particular cell, if you observe here, in this particular cell, we will go to data tab, data validation, and we can select the option as list. Here in this box, we can select the name of all the items and we can click on OK. So this becomes my drop down list. If I zoom the screen, this becomes our drop down list. We can quickly select instead of wasting or investing time into typing. This becomes easy. And then obviously equal to VLOOKUP, press tab key. The first one is the lookup value, comma. This becomes my table array, or let's say 4, 0. 0 meaning is exact match. That's it. So when we press enter, I've got the output. Now instead of typing, if you see the first example I was typing, I was struggling hard to find out the values. But here I have list of name of all the options over here. So if you go to any company, any government office, any college, you will find an admin sitting over there. They will ask you, please sir, tell me what is your ID number. They have your PAN card number, they have your student ID number, they have your college ID number. They just click on the drop down, okay, and they get the output over there. Or they might type it at the max and they will get the value quickly. So usually the data is not kept here and the value is not kept here, okay. This data is very huge. So it is kept in some separate sheet and that is hidden, that is not visible. Why? Because if I am a student and I am coming to see my data, I might see some other students' data. If I am a person, I might see all your information, right? So usually this data is hidden at the back end. This is not visible. This is kept into some other sheet and you only have this data over here. Okay, so that is what you call VLOOKUP with data validation. The other one is trim and VLOOKUP. Now, usually the data is not always clean. Whenever you see the data, it's not always clean. So let me show you an example. If I double click on AC, carefully observe, in AC there's a lot of space given. If you see, that's an AC and unwanted spaces are given. And here in this AC, in this place, AC, if I double click, there's no space given here. So what I want here is, I will apply a function of trim. Trim is a function to remove the unwanted spaces from a text, unwanted spaces. Let's see. If I use without trim function, what happens? Equal to VLOOKUP, lookup value, comma, this becomes my table array, comma, 4, 0. So this is a simple function. We have written 3-4 times now. When we press enter, it says NA. Why NA? Because in this data, there's an unwanted space. So if you think unwanted spaces are there in cell number A124, apply TRIM function and put that cell number there. So very simple, we can put trim function and put the cell number and press enter. Now we have got the value here. So if I double click here, Okay, that means you can put nested functions in Excel, possible nested functions. It is very useful. So I'm just giving one example. You can write 100 different examples in the VLOOKUP. You can write uppercase, lowercase, proper case, left, right, trim, mid, date functions, number function, text functions, statistical functions. Most of the functions you can write inside VLOOKUP. Okay, that's one example. Okay, similar example. Now this is trim with VLOOKUP. If you see the watches given here, okay, the watches, and here if I scroll down, if I double click on watches, carefully observe, now the database is having a space, but the lookup value is not having a space. Now it is vice versa. If the database is having a space, how do I remove a space from the entire database? It's very difficult, right? So these are different scenarios. These are most common scenarios in the corporate companies. Equal to VL, press tab key, lookup value, this lookup value didn't have a space, and this becomes our table array, comma 4, comma 0. Okay, when we press enter. So as usual, it is giving us NA. So where is the trim function to be applied? Trim function has to be applied on this red highlighted data. To apply on the red highlighted data, before this red value, I have to put a cursor blinking, TRIM open bracket, and at the end I can close a bracket. So now trim is a function applied on the whole table. When I press enter, I am getting the value here, which is 31.95. So watches, if you observe here, 31.95. So as I said, this is second example. One example was on the lookup value. Second example was on the data set when you have the unwanted spaces. The next example is the HLOOKUP. That's the last example. Hopefully that's the last example. Yes. What is HLOOKUP? V stands for vertical. Therefore, we use VLOOKUP formula. 99% in the company, you will always get vertical tables. But rare chances are there that you might get a data in the horizontal format. What is horizontal table? The data is going horizontally forward. That's known as horizontal table. Okay. So this is HLOOKUP. If you want to find out the data from here, if you want to find out the values from here, we have to apply HLOOKUP formula. So H stands for horizontal, V stands for vertical. We will give the name of the product and we should be getting the price over here. Okay. So it is similar to your VLOOKUP. Only thing is we just change the name over here. So equal to HLOOKUP, press tab key. Now let us see the value here. Lookup value, same thing. Table array, same thing. Instead of column index number, now it is row index number because it's a horizontal table. And then 0 or 1 we can put here. Lookup value, comma, this is my table array. It's a table array, comma 4, comma 0. That's it. Comma 4, comma 0. Why 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. So row number, okay, row number is 4. When we press enter, we get the value. So mobile phone is 18,000 rupees, which is true. And if I put laptop, I should get 70,000 rupees. If I put here laptop, 70,000 rupees, which is absolute right. So this is one of the example of HLOOKUP. Now VLOOKUP is the most common thing which people use nowadays. Okay, that's important. But hold on, it is important to know 90% of the world thinks VLOOKUP is the best. Keep watching the next videos. You'll understand there are some better examples than VLOOKUP. Okay, so don't go by the flow where everyone is going. Try to invent, try to discover new method which people do not know. So if I tell you replacement of VLOOKUP is XLOOKUP, replacement of VLOOKUP is lookup function, replacement of VLOOKUP is merge queries in Power Query. So just hold on. In the coming videos, you might see XLOOKUP and lookup functions, merge queries in the advanced topic of Excel function here. But important to know because syllabus is old, people still follow the old syllabus, schools and colleges still follow the old syllabus. Okay. So this was the example for VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. I hope you understood. And match and index. Now these are lookup functions available in Microsoft Excel, match and index functions. Now these are very important in different examples. We can use this match and index functions inside VLOOKUP and other functions as well. Let's try to understand what is match function first. We can see the option over here. Let me zoom the screen. What is the match function? Match function gives you the position of the item in that array. Gives you the position of the item in that array. For example, here is the name and I want to find out the position. Okay, name is given as camera. So these are list of all the products. I want to find out what is the position of camera in this particular array. So we will find out. If it is a small data, I can just count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if it's a huge data, it becomes difficult to find out the position of that particular word. Let's try to understand, or the function is very simple. Only 3 parameters. The first one is the lookup value. Second one is the array. And third one is number 0, which is the exact match. So lookup value, the array, and third one is 0. So equal to match, equal to match, press tab key, and the first one is lookup value, comma, second one is the array, and comma 0. That's it. So these are three options and press enter. So it says the position of camera in that array is number 7, and instead of camera, if I type here AC, it gives me position number 3, which is correct. The second option, if you see index, one was the match function, second is the index. Index is the opposite of match. You give the position number, it will give you the value. For example, here I will give the position number. What is the value? I have to find out the answer. So here position number 1 is fridge. If I type position 3, I'll be getting as fridge. And here, let me delete this option here. What is the function? Equal to index. And here, it can be used for various purposes. The first one is the array and then the row number. So here comes the array and comma, we can put here 1, okay, and then close the bracket. That's it. So here I'll give the array and the position number, or instead of this one, I can select the row number and close the bracket. So now when I press enter, I'm getting as fridge. If I type number 2, number 3, and so on. So if I put number 4, I'm getting mobile. So this will give me what is the value in that position number. This is the index function. Now this is 1D. If you see, the column headings are given here. It's a vertical table. So when you have vertical table, you just need to give a row number. But however, if the table becomes more complex like this one, okay, let me show you the output here. I can give the row number, I can give the column number. It has to give me the output. Okay, for example, if you see the row number, column number, what is the output? So let's find out the row number 3, okay, and the column number 3. So the value is 35,000. Row number 3, column number 3, value is 35,000. So let's write here 3 and 3. So output should be given as 35,000. So equal to index. The function name is index. Remember, index gives you the value in that position. Earlier we found out row number 3 in the beginning example, previous example. Now I'll give the row number and the column number. So first one comes as the array, comma, I can put here 3, 3. Okay. So 3, 3 is a hard coded value. I should not put 3, 3. I should put this row number, comma, the column number. So I am selecting the cell values and enter. So it gives me the values 35,000. Suppose if I ask them value row number 4 and column number 2. So it should give me the last Q103. Just to remember, this is 4, 2. Okay, so if you see Q103, so it gives you in a 2-dimension value as well. So index gives you the value in that position, column number, row number. Now this is the mix of the first example. If you see, that's a two-way index. Now here, the previous was just an example, but if I try to give you real example how people look like. Now here we have the column heading as Pune, Mumbai, Chennai. These are name of 3 cities, and these are month-wise values which are given. Maybe quantity. Okay, so Jan to September, these are the quantity values. So I want to find out in the let's say city Mumbai in the month of April, what is the quantity? Okay, that way. So if I put here the city name, city would be, let's say, as Mumbai, and if I put here month would be, let's say, April, APR. What is the value here? So this becomes my two-way index. Now here Mumbai and April, these are not the position number, these are the values. So from the values, I want to find out the position number. Now this is a little complicated. I'm using both the options as match and index. Okay, match and index. So first thing, what function should I use here? Is it match or is it index? Okay, so here the answer would be, I have to find out the value. So to get the value, the function name is index. Okay, so equal to, I'll write the function over here, equal to index. So let us zoom the screen, index, press tab key. So first this becomes our array, and then comma. Now row number. Obviously, the row number is this one. If you see the April, this becomes my row number. But I cannot select April. I should give the value as 4. But if I give 4, then it becomes hard coded. I cannot modify that thing. So then I have to use a match function inside the index function. So the match function gives me the value of April, comma, in that array, comma 0. So what is the output of this match function? It will give me the position number, okay, which is a row number, comma, and then I can put here, let's say, match, one more function here. This becomes my lookup value, comma, row number, comma 0, and press enter. So here comes 90. Let's find out whether the answer is correct or not. Mumbai, April 90. So Mumbai and 92 and April, if you see, 92 is the value here. Now similarly, if I want to find out the value for, let's say, as Pune, and if I want to find out, let's say, as JN, so the value is given as 46. If you see, 46, which is Jan and Pune, Pune and Jan, the combination is 46. So this is how you can find out the answers with the help of what you call as match and index. It's a combination. Imagine the table becomes huge, it becomes many columns, many rows, then this would be the best method to get the answers. Now this is what you call as two dimension. One is the column heading, second was the row heading, and that's how we have got the two-way index option over here. This was the combination of index and match functions. These are used but very rarely, okay, index and match functions. But I hope you have understood how to use the match and index functions in Excel. The lookup function. We have seen what is VLOOKUP, we have seen what is match and index. Now we'll learn about the lookup function. And along with lookup function, some more VLOOKUP extra advantage options over here. So let's see first the VLOOKUP, which we already know. Now here, if you see on my screen, there's a data which is top products, product code, quantity, and the price. These are 4 columns. And what we exactly want is, if we enter the name of the product, any product, if we enter the name, we should be getting automatically the product code, the quantity, the price. All these 3 data should be visible on the top. It's like if I ask you your ID number, okay, it can be, let's say, your passport number, your PAN card number. I should be getting your date of birth, your name, your country, your city, and everything, all the information at one place. So entering some unique information, which is a lookup value, and I should be getting all the details about that person, about that product here. So how do we do that? Okay, so usually if I want to apply VLOOKUP function, I have to apply 1, 2, and 3 times. Okay, but here we'll be applying VLOOKUP with a match function to get all the output. Let's try to understand. So here we go. So first of all, we will create a drop down list for all the top products in this cell. So how do we do that? We can keep a cursor in cell number A4, data tab or data menu bar, and here we can click on this data validation. The moment we click on data validation, we will select the option from here as list. Here in the list, we can select the data from A7 to A14 and click on OK. So this data we are selecting, and then we can click on OK. So now when we click on this drop down, it becomes more easy. Now what we can do is, for getting a product code, if you observe here, 3 things you have to remember. One is lookup value, second is the table array, and third one is the column index number, which is 2. Okay, column index number becomes here 2. If you want the quantity, so lookup value, table array, and the column index number becomes here 3. And for price, 3 things you have to remember: lookup value, table array, column index number becomes here 4. Okay, so these are the functions we have to use. Let us zoom the screen. We can write as equal to VL, which is equal to VLOOKUP, open the bracket, and here the first one is lookup value. Now remember, A4 is a cell where all the lookup values are there, comma, and when we select the data at the bottom, which is the red color table, comma, 2, 0, and we can press enter. So here we have got the answer, but when I scroll on the right hand side, you can see what happens here. I've got the answer as 20. Again, if I scroll on the right hand side, I've got 4400. So if I double click here, what exactly is happening? Carefully observe. The table has shifted on the right, and C4 is the value which is from this particular table. So it is not the right answer. So if I double click here, you see the table has shifted on the right hand side. If I double click here, the table has shifted. So what I need to do is, now I have to apply the cell referencing functions or the techniques which I've learned earlier. In order to do that, we have to double click here. This A4 has to be fixed. Even if the formula or the function goes on the right hand side, A4 cell number is a lookup value. So we can press function F4 or F4. In short, we have to lock this particular cell, which is $A$4. Next, the table, if you see, we have to select this red color highlighted font data, and then again press function F4. That is what we have done, and press enter. So when we do that, now when we scroll on the right hand side, we have got the answer. But the problem here is, everywhere we are getting the product code. So if I double click here, I'm getting the product code. If I double click here, it's the product code. What is a common thing if you observe? Number 2. Everywhere if you see, the number 2 value is given here. But when I select the data here, it should be number 2 column. For quantity, it is number 3 column. For price, it should be number 4 column. So when I shift on the right hand side, it should automatically pick up the column index number. Now the number which is given here, it's a hard coded number. Now how do I make it dynamic? If you remember, in the previous examples, we have learned about the match function. Okay, so match function gives you the position of a data, okay, position of data in that particular array. So now I want to find out what is the position of product code in this array, what is the position of quantity in this array, and price in this array. So we have to replace this number 2 with a match function. So match, open bracket here, select this cell over here, and then we have to lock $B3, or we can select as $B$3. We have to select this particular cell. We have to press F4, 0. Now when I select this, I can move it on the right hand side and I'll be getting the answer. So please see here, option over here. So match function B$3. Now what exactly is B$3? So B column we have kept it open. So $3 means the row number 3 has been locked. So B$3, C$3, E$3 and so on. And this particular array, which is green color highlighted, the column headings of the data has been locked. Comma 0, which is an exact match, we have got the answer. And now when we scroll this on the right hand side, we have got the data here. So now when we click on this drop down and if you select watches, you see the data will be changing for watches. If I select the drop down, let's say as perfumes, the data will be changing here. So what is this function exactly? Number one, it's a VLOOKUP function. Number two, inside VLOOKUP, we have added match function. Why match function? So we can change the column headings. We can make it more dynamic. What is the benefit of using this method? Suppose here in this column heading, if I type as price, so I'm swapping the column heading from here, price over here, quantity over here. When I press enter, I'm getting the price. If I type quantity, enter, I'm getting the quantity. So now it is no more dependent on the position of the column. Okay, it can be here and there. Same way, if I select this option and if I type quantity, enter, I'm getting the quantity here. Control Z. So this is a VLOOKUP full record. Okay, that's a benefit here. Now, moving further, we have another function named as lookup. Now, there are some limitations of VLOOKUP. Okay, what are the limitations? You cannot go from right to left. That means if the data is on the left hand side, with the help of this data, I can find out product code, I can find out quantity and price. But if I have a price, can I find out the product? I cannot do that. Okay, so going from right to left in VLOOKUP is not allowed. You cannot do that thing. In order to get that output, we use the function as lookup. That's one thing. Second, now suppose a new column is added here. Okay, if I select this C column, if I right click and click on insert, what is happening here? Now the quantity column becomes position number 4. Earlier it was position number 3, but now it is position number 4. So the column position is also changing, which might hamper the VLOOKUP function, because the third parameter is a column index number, which is important. So these are the limitations. In order to avoid those limitations, we use a lookup function. Please have a look here. So let's say the same data, the same product code, and we want the same products are there, we want the product code. So it is a very simple 3 parameters you have to remember. Number one is the lookup value, lookup array, and the output array here. That's it, 3 things: lookup value, lookup array, and the output array. So let us write here equal to lookup. That's a lookup value, comma. We selected the lookup array from here, comma, and that's the output array, or it's known as the result array. When we press enter, we have got the output. Not only this, suppose I have a value which is 26,000. I'll just paste over here 26,000. With the help of this value, I want to find out what is the product. What product do we have? So it becomes equal to lookup, and then we select this lookup value, comma. This is my lookup array, comma, and on the left hand side, that's the products. So close the bracket, enter. And for 26,000, I'll be getting the laptop. Right. So if I paste here 77,000, I'm getting the option as perfumes. Let me copy 35,000, Control V, or let's say 18,000, Control C. And if I paste here Control V, I'm getting the option as cosmetic. So 18,000, I'm getting the cosmetic option. And so it is working fine. So this way, now we have understood that lookup function, whatever limitations were there for going from right to left, which was not possible in VLOOKUP. Now this is possible with the help of lookup function in Microsoft Excel. So I hope you have understood the lookup function and VLOOKUP full record in Microsoft Excel. That's all for this video.